The Culture Secretary, Karen Bradley, was doing the rounds of breakfast television this morning. She spoke to BBC Breakfast and ITV's Good Morning Britain about her new plans for online safety. But the discussion inevitably veered towards Brexit, after Theresa May's interview yesterday in which she apparently refused to say if she'd vote to leave the EU in the event of a new referendum. Ms Bradley told BBC Breakfast, "We are delivering on the will of the British people from the binding referendum we had in June 2016, and we are leaving the European Union." Later, she used similar language on Good Morning Britain. "What I'm saying is that the British people in a binding referendum last year voted to leave the European Union." She's right that more votes were cast in favour of leaving than in favour of remain last June, 17.4 million for leave versus 16.1 million for remain. But as some commentators have pointed out, it's not strictly correct to say that the referendum result was binding, at least not in a legal sense. There was nothing in the EU Referendum Act that made the result legally binding. The European Union Referendum Act 2015, the law that allowed the referendum to take place, didn't specify what would happen in the event of a vote to leave. We know that because it didn't contain any explicit statement to make clear that the result would be legally binding. The House of Lords Constitution Committee explained in a 2010 report why that's the case. It said because of the sovereignty of Parliament, referendums cannot be legally binding in the UK, and are therefore advisory. In other words, unless Parliament actively agrees to bind itself to the result of a future referendum, it is not legally obliged to enact the outcome.